Welcome to ISTA, Institute of Science and Technology, Austria. Welcome to our virtual Student Open Day 2024. My name is Masha Trofimova. I'm the head of the graduate school office here, and today I will host this 1 hour virtual session to give you the best virtual experience of our institute, of our PhD program, and other opportunities that we have for young scientists. Welcome again. Shall we begin? First of all, I will explain to you what will happen today. After the short welcome from me, we will play a nice introduction video so you will be familiar with our campus. And then I will give the floor to the Dean of the Graduate School, Professor Eva Benkova, and to the Deputy to the Dean, Professor Gaspar Tkachik, who will tell you a little bit about our institute and especially about our PhD program. At the same time, and actually starting right away, you will be able to type in your questions that some of them we will pick up and I will ask the dean and the deputy to the dean, so you will hear probably your question answered live. We won't have too much time for these questions, but there is a graduate school office administrative team behind the scenes of this presentation, so you will be able to type in your questions in Slido. In a minute, I will show you how. There are 3 ways to do this, and you will get the written answer almost right away. We cannot promise to answer all of your questions, but we will try our best to answer the most of them. Let's see how this goes. After that, there will be a second part where, after already getting acquainted with our faculty, you will talk to our students. First of all, in a recorded form, in a video format, and then we'll have here some students on stage, and they will provide you the best possible insight what it means to be a PhD student at ISTA. Then the general session ends, and then depend on your research interests, about which I'm going to ask you right away. You are welcome to join individual track sessions, and that would be a Zoom sessions where you will also meet track professors, for example, math, chemistry, biology, and so on. And also, of course, you will also meet the students. That would be even more interactive. Now, whenever you have questions, and you can start right away, you can already type them in and ask. How to do this? So first of all, you see this on the screen. You can type your questions just on your screen in Slido. This is the platform we use now to reach out to you. Or you see now at the presentation screen, you see the QR code. You can scan it with your phone, and there you will have the Slido interface to ask your questions. Or, for example, on your laptop, you can go to slido.com, enter the code hashtag OpenISTA. This is also on your screen. And this way, you can access the platform for asking your questions. So don't be shy. There is no such thing as a stupid question. My team, which is 15 people, are eager to answer your questions live, and that would be in parallel with the whole program that we presented for you today. But if you're already asking questions, that's great. Now we have some questions for you. We have a couple of anonymous polls that we presented to you today. And now, just to warm you up, I will ask you a couple of questions. First of all, first question I'm going to ask is, where are you from? Where are you accessing us from now? For example, I don't know, I am from Colombia or I am from Budapest. Type your country or your city. We are really very curious to see where you are watching us, where you are joining. I see the cloud forming in front of my eyes and I see big Vienna all over the place. But let's see what's going to happen. At ISTA, we're very international. We have more than 80 nationalities on campus, and we welcome more new students from the rest of the world, from all the countries and from all the continents. Okay, I see a lot of things appear. Portugal is kind of getting bigger and bigger. France, India, Germany, Netherlands, Denmark, Spain. Okay, and meanwhile, I see more and more countries representing. Saudi Arabia, Ghana, Brazil, Hungary, Ireland. We are really spanning all the continents. It's super exciting to see such an international audience watching us right now. Thanks a lot for joining once again. All right. Perfect. Perfect. That gives us a perfect kickstart of the show. And then another question, you see it on the poll. You can provide one scientific keyword that represents you and your research. I already see some words popping up. You can say, for example, cells or algorithms or anything that comes to mind, a pipette, for example. Okay, neuroscience is dominating the scene. That's interesting. All right. Let's see. Okay, biophysics, biology, developmental biology, epilepsy. Super cool. Oh, we have a lot of interesting hashtags. Quantum, structural biology, synthetic biology, sports science, awesome. Artificial intelligence, of course. Bioinformatics, sure. Quantum physics, programming languages, materials. This is amazing because basically all these fields are represented at ISTA, and for many of them, you find several research groups where your research interests will be matched. I think we managed to gather exactly the audience that we wanted to meet today. Mathematical physics, yes. Biomaterial, genomic, microbiology, brain, perfect hashtag. Medical biochemistry, awesome. Perfect then. It seems that I already know you very well, and it seems that you are absolutely the right audience for ISTA. So now it's your time to see the campus, to see our institute, at least in a virtual way. Let's play the video. Enjoy.
The Institute of Science and Technology Austria, in short, ISTA, is a cross-disciplinary research institution that combines excellent basic research with world-class graduate education. The Institute is equipped with outstanding scientific infrastructure. Brand new laboratories, lecture halls, and scientific service units give scientists and students the support to go beyond their limits.
We have a bioimaging facility that you can see in the background here. That's light microscopy. We have electron microscopy. We have a preclinical facility. We have a life science facility, general support for the life sciences. We have a nanofabrication facility and a workshop that includes an electronic workshop that builds specialized equipment. And then also we have a library.
ISTA's welcoming library offers a quiet place to study and access e-journals or e-books. The buildings are connected by bridges where you can enjoy free coffee and tea. They are also a great place to exchange ideas with colleagues from other research groups. When it comes to healthy food, the cafeteria has you covered. You can choose between Austrian, international, or vegetarian cuisine. ISTA also supports students with fully furnished apartments that are located on the campus.
That's great because I came from very far away, so it's really hard to find a place to live, but now I have a year to find it, and it's great.
The lively campus social scene makes studying and working at ISTA attractive too.
I really recommend to go for all the retreats, and yes, especially these social events are very well organized. A lot of nice food, nice people, nice activities usually.
I love ISTA because it's a very international environment. Everyone gets along, is very friendly. You have opportunities to do lots of sports with people, go on trips, and it's just a very enjoyable, nice atmosphere.
I'm specifically interested in sports, so I play volleyball with people from my cohort and other colleagues that join as well. And it's pretty nice that we have the field on campus as well, so you don't have to commute a lot.
The Institute is surrounded by quiet neighborhoods and beautiful nature. However, Austria's capital, Vienna, is just around the corner.
The best part is that ISTA is just on the outskirts of Vienna, so it's a bit outside the city, so you get to see the nice forest, the trees everywhere around it. You get that aspect of nature, but then you can just take the ISTA shuttle bus, and then you're just a short hop into Vienna and then away from there.
If you are eager to research on an extraordinary level and study in a diverse, interdisciplinary environment and would profit from a quiet place on the outskirts of a vibrant city, then consider ISTA for your PhD.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Eva Benkova and I'm Dean of the Graduate School. And it's my really great pleasure to welcome you to ISTA, even if only in this virtual way. Given the fact that you are joining us, I assume that you already heard about ISTA or at least visited our web pages. If I should highlight the main features of our institute, I would emphasize curiosity-based research and training the next generation of scientists. The future scientists who simply said are better than we are now. The scientists who are creative, they integrate, they work across different research disciplines, they integrate the knowledge, they are not afraid to develop new approaches, new techniques to address scientific questions, and also collaborate internationally. And speaking about international collaborations, I think the IST is really a beautiful example of this international spirit with the 80 nationalities being already at the ISTA. Regarding the language, I would like also to highlight that you don't need to worry. Austria is German-speaking country, but at our campus, the English is a working language, and I think you can perfectly arrange everything what you need and communicate with all people here, whether the scientists or the administration people in English. IST is relatively young institute. First PhD students arrived to ISTA in 2010, and we grow rapidly. Currently, we have at the campus more than 1,000 employees and around 80 research teams who really works on many different research in many different research areas, including information system sciences such as computer data sciences, astro earth sciences, biological system sciences, also the many different disciplines in the scope of the life sciences, neurobiology, biology, biochemistry, and I cannot forget mathematicians, physicists, chemists. And what actually ISTA can offer to our PhD students. You will hear from the Deputy Dean, Gaspar Tkaczyk, who will introduce our PhD program.
Thank you, Eva. Welcome to all of you from my side as well. So IST offers a number of opportunities. As you can see on your screen, this is both for PhD students, which I presume most of you are interested in, but also shorter stays of research internship, and that Masha will later explain a little bit more in detail. But because we are a growing place, we're actually also recruiting, new faculty. There is opportunities for postdocs, technicians, and admin people. I will now switch over and say a few words about the PhD program, and let me do that. So this is a program where we generally welcome students for a 5-year duration. Of course, if science is done before, one can defend before. If science requires a bit longer, that's flexible as well to some extent. But all in all, our program is structured in 2 phases, as you can see on your screen. The first phase lasts between 1.5 years and 2 years, and it's a phase where you are not yet part of a research group. You do lab rotations in various groups, so you have to do 3 rotations, which are opportunities to get to know the group and interact and see how science is really done in that group, and those are roughly 9 weeks in duration. This helps you then choose a group where you'd actually like to do your PhD research, which is then phase 2. In addition to lab rotations, you're also taking some coursework. That's a combination of new kinds of coursework we try to design here to stimulate interdisciplinary exchange, but also kind of rigorous graduate school, graduate level, specialized courses. After you found a good match for the research you'd like to do, you affiliate with a particular group, or sometimes you can co-affiliate with 2 groups, and then prepare your thesis proposal. What is it in terms of science you'd like to do? You defend this thesis proposal in a qualifying exam, and that successfully completes phase 1. Now, phase 2 is a more standard, graduate school research work focused on the question you posed in your thesis proposal. There is some opportunity for teaching, so you can be a TA or you can propose a course even as a student and co-teach it. There's regular progress reviews and kind of presentations of your research. And of course, the phase 2 then completes, hopefully, with a very nice PhD thesis defense. And you get a PhD from IST and go out into the world. Very importantly, we welcome for our PhD program bachelor students and master students alike. So you can come from anywhere in the world, which means either it's a European Bologna 3-year bachelor, or it can be a US style, Indian style 4-year bachelor program, or an integrated bachelor master. So this can be accommodated within this PhD program structure with maybe more or less emphasis on the amount of coursework you do in phase 1. One thing I would really like to highlight here at IST is the scientific support provided by scientific service units. So these are sort of professionally managed and scientifically staffed infrastructure units supporting the experiment and computation. So you see some examples on your screen, which really allows us to keep the scientific support at the high level, centralized, and invest over the long run. So this, of course, complements the kind of research resources that individual groups have. So these are sort of shared large-scale equipment, which includes, let's say, scientific computing, but also microscopy, animal facility, and so forth. All right. And just very briefly about career paths of our graduates. Right now, our graduate school is already pretty sizable, so we are hosting almost 400 PhD students. Where do they go after they get their PhD? Most of them, so slightly more than half, stay in academia and go on for postdocs or sometimes even faculty jobs in certain fields. But also a sizable fraction, about 40%, will then go on to business and industry. Some go to public sector education. I should also mention that IST has a kind of a tech transfer and startup campus right over the street, and this is also where some of our graduates end up. And you can see with students kind of future academic or non-academic examples of where they went listed below on the slide. And with that, I'll hand over back to Masha.
Thanks a lot, Eva. Thanks a lot, Gasper. From my side, first of all, a reminder to all our guests. Again, if you want to ask a question live, please type it in Slido, either right on your screen or on your mobile phone. You will need to scan the QR code that you see right now, or you can go to slido.com with the code #OpenISTA. You can access the platform for asking questions, and I hope many of you already received your answers. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Gasper, for this fantastic academic introduction. I just want to share a little bit about the environment of our PhD program. So, what kind of support our PhD students are getting here on site, on campus? First of all, and I think this is the most important thing, all our PhD students, without any exceptions, are fully funded. You don't need to pay any tuition, and you're officially employed by the institute. So you receive a monthly salary, and good news, in Austria, salaries are paid 14 times a year. So twice a year, you actually receive a double salary. All official employment comes with the medical insurance provided, and you have full access to Austrian healthcare. Obviously, if you come from a country which requires you to have a visa for entering Austria and working in Austria, you will have the full visa support. Again, with 80 nationalities on campus, doesn't matter where you come from. It hasn't ever happened at ISTA that we wanted to bring here an employee and we didn't succeed. You will get the support with this. Of course, when you're moving, for example, from overseas to a different country, the obvious question that comes to mind is, where am I going to live? How am I going to find an apartment, especially if I don't speak German, for example? We take care of this, and those of our first-year students who wish to get a campus housing, a nice and lovely apartment, you've seen some of them on the video, they can get a campus housing. The priority is given to, first of all, PhD students. Second of all, those of you who need a visa to enter Austria, and those who do not speak German, for whom German is not a mother tongue. You can stay on campus up to 1 year, but trust me, within a year, you will be very familiar with the local environment, and you will find an apartment either somewhere near the institute or in Vienna. Most of our students prefer to live in Vienna. It's just more fun. And of course, the commute takes about 30 minutes, and ISTA provides free shuttle bus from Vienna to campus and obviously back. So the scientists get their free transportation to the campus, even if they don't live around, even if they live in the city. We have a kindergarten on campus, so those of you who want to relocate here with family and especially with children will also get support with this. We also have our physicians, the medical doctors, and the clinical psychologists on campus, and the whole variety of help, support, resources, and a lot of people whose job is to actually help all ISTA employees, including students. And of course, I have to mention there is unlimited free coffee and tea on campus, so that you can definitely get your dosage of caffeine or non-caffeinated hot and cold beverages to keep your research going. All right. Now, a little bit about our admissions process. Our PhD call is already live, and the deadline is on January 8th. By the way, at 3 p.m. Central European Time. Don't forget this important detail. So you still have ample time to apply. Application is not very difficult. Obviously, it's all online. You don't need to send us any papers. What's going to happen afterwards? Afterwards, our faculty, our professors review your applications and shortlist candidates to do the online interviews. That would happen sometime around March. And then, very fast, the professors again all together decide whom to send the final offer to. And by the end of March this year, we plan to send the bulk of these offers out. What documents, obviously the online documents, you need to include in your admissions process so you are properly prepared? Your CV, of course, the statement of purpose. You need to say what kind of science you're interested in, and in this case, yes, you need to use a little bit more than just one hashtag word. And this should be a statement, let's say, around 1 page, that clearly states your purpose, why you're choosing ISTA, what research groups you are interested in. And this year we even include specific questions to actually help you to navigate your explanation to us. Why would you be a valuable PhD student here at ISTA, and what you wish to contribute to the science that we are doing here? We definitely need your university transcripts and diplomas of all your degrees. If you have just an undergraduate degree, this is again quite unusual for Europe, but this is fine for us. If you already have the master's, or let's say you are on your way to receive the master's, please submit all the transcripts and diplomas that you have. And you need to find free referees to actually write a separate letters, a separate statement about your academic abilities. These do not have to be very famous professors. It's better to pick up people who worked with you very closely and who knows your abilities and your research interests well, and can definitely make a clear statement about you, about your interests, and well, describe to us your capabilities in the best possible way. All right. So, what other opportunities apart from the PhD program we have for young scientists? If you are not ready yet for the PhD program, if you are not sure if you want to pursue the PhD path, or let's say you are still studying and you are not going to graduate this year, we have several opportunities. For example, in summer, we offer what we call ISTernhip Summer Fellowship. It's a centralized annual call, and the deadline for this application will be on February 5th. Basically, you choose a couple of research groups at ISTA that you think you would be most interested in, and write a very powerful and strong statement. Why do you want to join them from 3 to 2 months this summer, and what can you contribute to their research, and what is your interest? For this, you will receive a monthly stipend, you will receive a travel allowance, so your travel ticket will be covered regardless of where on this globe you are located. Also, the health insurance and the subsidized accommodation. We will help with this. It's a fantastic summer program with a lot of opportunity. You learn firsthand how to do research, how research is done in groups, both that have wet labs and those that don't. And also, you will get to know other Easterns. And these can be actually connections, interdisciplinary connections that last a lifetime. In case summer is not a good timing for you, or you already have some summer plans, actually a scientific internship and official employment in any of the groups can start at any point throughout the calendar year. For this, you need to be brave and reach out via email to a professor directly and make your, well, we can call it elevator pitch. In a short email, attaching your CV, describing who you are, why do you want to join as an intern, and how you can contribute again to the science that is in the group. For this, you will receive official employment, monthly salary with all the benefits, and of course the visa support in case you need it. So, apart from the PhD program, these are the two opportunities that you also have here at ISTA. Now, before you meet our PhD students, I would like to pick up some of your questions, and let's talk to the faculty. Let's talk to the dean and the deputy dean. I already see that there are a lot of questions right here in the Slido, and I'm going to ask Eva and Gasper some of them. So, as far as my colleagues who monitor your questions reported to me, there are a lot of similar questions phrased in different ways. So, I would like to ask Eva, you, during your scientific career, has read probably thousands of applications. So you probably would be the best person to tell us what makes an application stand out. What makes a good application? What you are looking for?
Yeah, I'm not the only one. I think the faculty here, everybody actually, I mean, has already some experience with that. But I mean, if I should give some advice to you when you prepare the application, I think you should really, really take your time to think why you would like to join our graduate school and explore science ongoing here at the ISTA. Have a really look what kind of the groups research is here. Also think about the projects you would like to work on here, and maybe have a look or select 3 groups and go really in depth and imagine how it would look like when you join these groups, whether you would be happy with the project, with the science ongoing in these groups. Also, I suggest that you have a look on the web pages of our graduate school to see whether our program as design aligns with your expectation, because I mean there is a bit kind of different compared to other graduate school. We have a rotation system here. So I mean be sure that all this is what you really want. And I think this kind of preparatory work in a way will also help you to draft or shape your motivation letter or statement, right? And there I think it's really important that you kind of are really specific why you want to join the ISTA. Maybe you avoid this kind of very, very general statements and really are more concrete about why you would like to join certain groups, certain research. And also don't be shy and modest and stress your successes and achievements, and don't worry to show that you are really good.
Thanks a lot, Eva. This is very valuable advice. May I elaborate a little bit on this question and ask you, okay, so this is the applications you would be very happy to have. But what about students? What kind of students thrive at ISTA in your group and all other groups? If you can describe it in a nutshell, what would be such a student?
Motivated students. I think, again, maybe I give advice, right? Because our research program, or not, sorry, research educational program offers this rotation system, right? And this gives you opportunity to really select the group and the project which you like to work on and you will be passionate on. So this is linked with then motivation, your engagement in the project. And this is what is then the best setup for the supervisor and for the student. Of course, I mean, it's very good when the students are not scared, worried to ask a question, also to admit if they don't understand whatever science or experiments they need to do. They are also prepared to fail in a way, because I mean many experiments might not work. Sometimes you start the project and you will see it's at that end, you need to restart. So somehow you have to be also prepared for this kind of challenges and difficulties. And anytime you identify problem, it's really important that you start to talk, because this is already first step to solve the problem, where you are not scared to admit it and seek for help, for advice, for support, and generally interact with your colleagues, interact with the supervisor, interact with the graduate school office. I think this is really important.
Thanks a lot for such a detailed answer, Eva. And I think we have the right audience, just the people you described, because they are not afraid to ask challenging questions. So here I would like to ask Kasper. The students ask, what if they want to switch their field when they're coming to ISTA and do research in something which is not their background?
Yeah, so I think the structure of the PhD program that we try to outline does offer support and options. For instance, if you got your primary education or master's level degree in one field, maybe you have done physics, but you'd like, let's say, I'm giving an example, to learn how to do work in a wet lab and switch to biology. And this is because before you start on the research, we have this phase one where you can take courses, get lab experience. There is even other options we didn't have time to explain in detail, where you can spend longer time within individual groups to learn new things. In particular, we can offer to spend more time in this phase one, right? To take more coursework and so on, even though you already have a master's degree. And so I must say, we have seen a number of really nice successes of young scientists who came very motivated with a background that was different from what they wanted to do, and then really made use of this structure to switch fields. There is also, for instance, then a very natural opportunity to be co-advised by two advisors, perhaps at the interface of what the student knew before when they came to ISTA and the new field they want to switch into. So there is quite some nice examples of this type of interdisciplinary work, which we then try to also institutionally support.
Great, thanks a lot. And there is one more question for you, Kasper. Do we have any teaching opportunities within the structure of our PhD program?
Yeah, so we do expect basically every student, after they join the group and proceed towards their PhD, to have some teaching experience. And in the beginning, that teaching experience was what we call a classical TA-ship, teaching assistantship, which means that you assist a faculty member in teaching a course, running practicals, right, running problem sessions, helping grade, and so on. What we have done recently, also based on student feedback, is we expanded this opportunity for teaching assistantship, so that now there is other options. Let me just mention one or two. Students can fulfill their teaching assistantship by not just assisting a professor, but also actually designing and teaching a course. They can act as supervisors or mentors for external students who come to finish their master's thesis, for instance, here. Or they can ask for a teaching assistantship that is connected to science education and outreach activities at IST. So, we have kind of a part of our institute which really promotes and organizes science events at the level of high schools and so on. And our PhD students can formally get engaged in those activities, and that would count also towards their teaching assistantship. So now it's a bit broader. Typically, the default is still to assist a professor, but there is other options as well.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, both Eva and Kasper, for great answers. I hope, dear guests, most of your questions have been answered by now, either here live or at the Slido. If you have further questions, please continue to throw your questions at the Slido. My team is actively typing. And now I think it's time for you to see our students. First of all, within a short video, and then we will be talking here with them live. Thanks a lot again.
I chose IST because of the interdisciplinarity and because of how it worked, like the PhD program, that we could do the rotations, we could figure out what we are interested in.
There was one interesting aspect of the
of my time here at IST, and this was the first year that ended with the affiliation. So I really enjoyed the fact that I could spend some time doing the research with different groups. And in the end, I actually ended up joining a different group than I thought I would.
We could actually see what the group is like before joining and, just try different, maybe even topics, and yeah. So this is why I chose IST.
In the years before I came to IST, all the people around me were doing mathematics. And now I come here and suddenly, out of the 25 people in my year, it's only 3 people doing mathematics and everyone else is doing, biology, neuroscience, all the crazy things. And then I get to do a course where I actually go to the lab and I pipette something and I sequence my DNA. And, there are people who have been doing this for ever, and I've never been doing that, and it's exciting. So the opportunities like this that broaden your horizons, that's really great about the first year at IST. But on the other side, there is also the depth. So within your field, there is a group, or there are a couple groups who do stuff that you are interested in and with whom you could have, arbitrarily complicated talks about what they are interested in.
I think ISTA is, I will say, a trivial thing, feels like family. And it's kind of like you have a close family and a little bit more distant family, but you still interact with a lot of people. And our group, for example, interacts a lot with another computer graphics team of Chris Voighton. So we spend a lot of time together, we do activities. Apart from then, of course, go into group retreats together. It's really joyful time, and of course it spans over a few days where we have both time for work and leisure.
I think that ISTA is a very close-knit community, and I think it comes from the fact that we are such international students, and we all kind of, at least in my case, we were 35, 40 students who start together their PhD, and we all wanted to find friends and meet people, and so it was very easy to bond with them. I think over the last 4 or 5 years, I've made many good friends, and I think they are going to be my friend for a very long time to come.
I think IST may be easily, if not the best, then among the best places in the world to do a PhD.
So my professor has been, luckily for me, that he has been very supportive, and he is always very, very available. He's just next door, and I can just knock on his door and go to him. At least before pandemic, that was the case. I can go to him and then talk about problems that I have, or discuss science in general, or sometimes we just sit around after the lunch break and discuss about random stuff as well, not just science, about politics, yeah. And he also has a very good sense of humor, I have to say. So in my free time, I also picked up how to dance salsa here at IST. One of the postdocs who was living here before me just decided to start teaching us salsa dancing, and then I picked it up, and now after 4 years of dancing salsa, I'm teaching those classes.
During my free time, I did a lot of yoga and then a lot of dancing, and there used to be yearly charity concert taking place, and so I always contributed with a dance there. So we also used to play a lot of table soccer at IST, and it was good fun because it's like, well, at the beginning, of course, you join a group and you don't know, and everyone beats you all the time, but then you start practicing and suddenly you get better and better. It's really fun.
All right. Hope you all enjoyed the video, but now we have students right here in the studio with me who are ready to talk to you and share their experience. So without further ado, welcome Vanessa.
Hi, thank you very much. Hello everyone, welcome to the virtual Student Open Day. I'm Vanessa. I'm Austrian and I also have a master's degree from an Austrian university, and I am a first-year biology track student here at ISTA.
So, if you're a first student, that means that the experience of applying to ISTA and going through interviews is very fresh still in your memory. Can you share some tips with our audience? How was you preparing the application? What was useful?
Yeah, I'd be happy to share some tips. So the thing that helped me the most that I've done was just talking to other PhD students, what they found the most interesting or the most important things to mention in their applications. But I think in general, it's good to have a good and structured CV and also really go into your strengths and weaknesses and your passions, so to say, in your statement of purpose that you will also have to submit. Just show the people that will read it that you really, really want to be here.
Thanks for great tip. And by the way, in the second part of our virtual student open day, you will have a chance to join our track meetings where students will also be represented, and that's when you can use Vanessa's advice to actually talk to them and ask them questions. And then, well, you submitted your application. Obviously, it was very impressive because you were selected for the interviews. And since you're here, you really was shining at the interviews. How did you do this? What tips on interviews can you get?
Yeah, so I interviewed with 3 faculty professors that were already at the institute, and then also with one that joined the institute later on. All of the interviews were conducted via Zoom, so they were online, but still it was a very informal setting and more relaxed than anything else. They just want to get to know you, they want to get to know your research experience and how you could contribute to their group's research. And overall, it was nothing to worry about, really.
That's great to hear. What did you learn during this application process and interview process that actually convinced you to join ISTA? Because most probably you were thinking of applying and maybe you applied to other institutions.
Yeah, so when you apply, you actually have to choose some research groups that interest you the most. And I think just the way the PIs and the faculty talked about the institute and then also getting to know the institute because I was already there for a year, just really convinced me that this environment was super chill and really welcoming and inclusive to everyone. And so I think overall this institute is just perfect to work at without having to worry about anything else.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Yes, we're chill and inclusive. Thanks a lot. And let's welcome our next guest, Hamza. Welcome, Hamza.
Hi,
How are
hi.
you today?
Yeah, I'm fine, good. Hi, Masha. Thank you. And hi, everyone. And welcome to the virtual open day. I'm Hamza Nasir, and I'm a third-year PhD student in Modish Group. And basically, I'm from Pakistan, and I did my master's from South Korea.
Excellent. So, well, we just talked to an Austrian student, and now we have a person from Pakistan with experience in South Korea. So, when you came to ISTA, how exactly did you choose the research group after your first year? What helped?
Yeah, actually, I kind of switched my field. So during my master's, I mainly focused on high energy physics lab, and during my coursework, I got interest in the condensed matter physics and particularly in quantum material research. So by the time of the application, I kind of knew that these groups I will be like potentially I can join them, but I was uncertain. But that was the time where the lab rotation really helped me and helped me in refining to take the decision where I can best fit and where my interests align. Though I got insight from all the groups where I rotated, so it was a kind of good experience.
Okay, so
yeah.
rotations definitely
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's what they're for.
Yeah.
But now that you're doing condensed matter physics, that means a lot of hours spent in the labs doing experiments. How do you achieve work-life balance?
Yeah, here I would say ISTA is really, I would say, very helpful and supportive in a sense that I can maintain my work-life balance. Being an experimentalist, of course, I have to spend a lot of time in the lab, and since I have a newborn baby, so where I can have frequent appointments with doctor and hospital. So ISTA, I think, was kind of very supportive in all this time, particularly maintaining that my professional life doesn't affect my quality time that I can spend with my life.
Great
with
to
my wife.
hear
Yeah.
this, and tricky question that probably our guests also have. So, is your PhD salary enough to support the family?
Yeah, it's kind of enough, and I would say more than enough. Yeah, and since we have a kindergarten on campus, so we are kind of also have a good feedback from my colleagues and from my PI. It's kind of very international environment in the Kiga, so where kids can grow in a very multicultural environment. So it's very helpful. And since, as before you mentioned that the whole PhD is funded, on top of that, we have a grant office which really help us and motivate us to secure other funding. Being as a PhD student, it's kind of very good for your CV that you are leading your own project. As far as my experience is concerned, I was quite impressed by the outstanding work by the grant office, because they helped me in preparing all the documentation, take care of the deadline, meeting all the eligibility criteria. And when I successfully secured the funding, afterwards they take over all the documentation as well, all the administrative work that I think an ideal scenario for a researcher, so he don't have to worry about the administrative thing. So it was kind of like very good experience with them.
Sounds really great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Hamza, and all the best to you
Yeah.
and your family.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Our next guest is Bardia. So, welcome on stage, Bardia. And let's make this conversation a little bit more challenging, because every student now tells you all kind of positive things, but obviously PhD life is quite hard and difficult. What challenges did you encounter so far?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm Bardia. I'm a second year PhD student here in Monica Hensinger's group, where we do algorithms and differential privacy. So yeah, in my case, actually, I had, I would say, pretty stressful first year, because I joined ISTA because of Monica Hensinger. So, but when I came here, I learned that I had competition. So it was 3 of us who wanted to affiliate with Monica, and there was only one position available.
That's pretty stressful. How did you go about it? What did you do, and how did you cope with stress?
I would say the best advice I can give is to keep in mind that communication with your group is really important, and also the rotation systems are flexible. So in my case, I started talking to my PI as soon as I accepted the offer. So I got some literature from her because I was free a couple of months before joining the institute. And also, as soon as I got here, because program starts in September and rotations start in October, I contacted my postdoc supervisor to start earlier. Then I extended my rotation a little bit. So we found out what was the best for our project and for my path as a rotation student.
That was super smart. So you basically guaranteed time that you need to spend studying and learning the research that is done in the group, and also you have time to show what you are capable of. Well, now you are successfully affiliated with Professor Hensinger. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And I guess the next step would be the qualifying exam then.
Yes.
Do you feel prepared?
Well, because I'm on the long routes, because I came directly from my bachelor's, I have still quite some time for the exam. My deadline is in September.
Yeah.
So, but of course, we've started to think about directions that my PhD can go, you know, for writing my proposal, and also finding the papers that I need to read for the qualifying exam, for the relevant literature part. So It's quite relaxed currently, I would say, but
For
of course
now.
it will be.
Yeah, yeah. There will be more challenges. There are always challenges in life and in the PhD student life for sure. But, well, Bartier, all the best with your qualifying exam. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Let's
Thank you.
meet our next guest.
Good luck with the applications.
Oh, thank you. And now I would like all of you to meet Darina.
Hi everyone. Hi Masha. I'm Dari. I'm a PhD student of the second year at Michael Group. We are working on structural biology and biochemistry of chromatin.
Perfect. And you're also not from Austria. How was the process of relocation to another country and finding out a different culture? How can you describe that?
Right. It was quite a journey because Austria is my country number 7 of residence, and it was one more step to come here and integrate it. It's not always easy to integrate to a different culture, a different environment, but I would say ISTA really surprised me by how diverse it is, and the diversity makes it very inclusive. We are all different, and that pushes the connections and pushes us to open to the whole world and just find friends and new connections.
All right, and what do you do with your friends? What kind of activities students have besides, spending a lot of time studying?
Right, yeah. Studying is a very important part, but we also, I have to show off a little bit. Me and my friend this year are organizing a series of talks. So we joined one of the teams that are organizing the talks of scientists and researchers at ISTA. And to be honest, there are so many different types of colloquiums and lectures provided by researchers at ISTA, researchers coming externally. And apart from that, of course, there are many kind of sports that ISTA researchers are interested in. And there are communities that go bouldering together or cycling and hiking, also boarding games. And there are many, many things to do. And you always find something interesting for yourself.
Cool. Thanks a lot. And since we're about to close this session, just maybe a couple of sentences as a final advice to our guests.
Right. I would suggest maybe the most important thing is not to be afraid to communicate with different people from different stages of career, with PIs, with the postdocs, because you will always find there's no hierarchy here, but rather a very interdisciplinary and integrative community. So don't be afraid to communicate, because that's the key to learn.
Thanks a lot, Darina. And now we have, just to get into the spirit of communication, final poll question for you. Let us know, give us some feedback. How was the 2024 Virtual Student Open Day for you? Write whatever comes to mind. It is super important for us. And of course, thanks a lot for your time and for your attention. What follows are the track sessions, and quite shortly you will see the QR code where you can scan it, join the Zoom link, and obviously join our track sessions depending on what you're interested in. I think there will be physics and neuroscience and biology and chemistry and math and computer science and data science. Of course, you don't have to limit yourself to one session. There are free time slots. Feel free to attend as many as possible. And I think the main advice that you had today was communicate, communicate, communicate. Let's do this. Goodbye for now. And me, all my colleagues, all our professors and students will be very, very happy to see you at ISTA next year, maybe even sooner, maybe a little bit later. Thanks a lot for your attention. Bye for now.